So in this video today, we are going to make some regular goat's milk soap. So we're going to start this off by using a bunch of frozen goat's milk. So we take goat's milk, whether you got it from your local farm or you bought a package of goat's milk, or you could do powdered goat's milk and add water to it and mix it up as the package directions go. We dump these into little silicone muffin tins and then freeze them like that, and it seems to be the perfect size to do this goat's milk soap. So we're going to start off with 38 ounces of goat's milk that has been frozen, and so I'm just going to put that in here first. You do not defrost it, you leave it frozen. The lye is going to melt it in just a moment. So now we are going to add our lye. So we need 18 ounces of lye, carefully measured out. Make sure that you have goggles and gloves on to do this. If you do happen to get lye on your skin, you would just rinse that off with some regular white vinegar to change the acidity rate of the lye. Is it acidity rate? I don't know. So it's not caustic and doesn't burn you, basically. So we're adding that here, and then what we're going to do is mix this together. You can see at the top here that the tops of these are already starting to melt. Do you see that? How it's like lightning, and in a few seconds you'll just see that water starts to form amongst all of these little goat's milk frozen little pucks here. So here we go. I'm going to start mixing this, and as you can see all the liquid that's coming through here in this bowl. That is your goat's milk. If you do not do it this way, and say you just poured regular goat's milk into a bowl and tried to do it that way, it actually can burn your soap, and then it will have like an off smell of burnt lye or burnt goat's milk. Sorry, not burnt lye, burnt goat's milk. So you really want to make sure that you are using frozen goat's milk in order to do this, rather than just using regular goat's milk. A lot of times the recipes will not specify on this, so it's one key thing that I think will change it for you. Do you see how they're melting down here? I have no heat on this. This is not on a heater. It is just the natural heat that's coming from the lye that is melting this all down, and it is almost ready for those fats. It really amazes me actually that soap is just literally like water or other type of liquid, lye, and then fats. Grocery store soap is the same thing. There is lye in every single bar of soap. It does not have to say lye in it to be lye, because it's a given. If it is soap, it is lye. If you do glycerin soap, then it means that that has already been produced into a soap. If you're using like a glycerin bar or something like that, all soap has lye in it. It is like a huge misconception I get all the time, like my soap doesn't have lye in it, or this doesn't have lye in it. It's because somebody has already produced the lye form of the soap. So if you see like glycerin soap bars or whatever it is, and they claim that there's no lye in it, there is lye in all soap. That's what makes soap. So please note that. You can look it up yourself. That is what makes soap. It amazes me though that like in the olden days, they literally made their lye from wood ash. So they would be cooking and heating their home with wood, and they would just dump it through there. So what have we added so far? We put 34 ounces of lard. We put 36 ounces of coconut oil, and we put 40 ounces of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of castor oil. Castor oil, I find, just gives it like a super lather. I was making this without the castor oil, and people wanted like a lather that they could get similar to a bar of soap that you buy at the grocery store. And so this did enough for them to make them pleased. So I think between the coconut oil and the castor oil, you just get a really nice lather on that. So that is why we add the castor oil to it. You can omit the castor oil and it won't change the effect of the product aside from making bubbles. So we are just going to mix this. First we mix it by hand, and then we mix it with a dasher blender. And what I usually do is I like lift it up and kind of, you see the little lumps that are already in there, and just kind of like place it right on top of the lumps, and then just do that for a little bit, stir around to get all those lumps in the mixer so it's getting chopped up really well. You can see them just starting to dissipate now and become into a smooth batter. So what's going to happen next is this is going to come into what's what they call a trace. And a trace is something where if you were making a cake, this was similar when I was younger. If you made a cake and you had, see how I'm like moving my hand like over to the right, and it, see right there, I just tried to see if it made like a stringy line over the top, and that would be your trace. See how when I shook it off, it just like did little dots in there? I'm looking for a trace where it comes over and there is that line. I decided to go a little bit further. Normally that would be the beginning of a trace, and if I'm adding especially clays and essential oils, then I would wait, and I would just pour it like that so that I would have enough time to be able to mix those things in. And my daughter's like, you're just making a plain one. And I was like, yes, I should probably do this longer. So we just poured that in there. I'm gonna get 3 large containers with this and then a small. Now, if you wanted to do different types of blends, you could do 3 different kinds of flavors or scents or whatever in each one of these. You could do 3 different designs in each one of these. I will be doing that later on, but for right now, I'm just doing a basic goat's milk soap bar, and I'm sharing that basic with you so that you can see just how easy it is to make a simple homemade bar of soap. This is what we use on a regular basis. I use this for body, hair, anything. It is just a good all-around bar. If you were to have 1 bar of soap, I would choose this. So I'm gonna dump this all in here. I found that this is like so awesome for your skin as well. I have eczema. You guys have seen my eczema. A lot of my kids have or can get like really dry spots, and this is just an excellent soap. When we came back from vacation, they had used some commercial soaps and their skin was really dry, and you can tell the difference now that they're back home using our tried and true homemade soap. So here we go. This I actually should have covered the night before because of the heat rate that there was. See the cracking in the middle, but I wasted a little bit, but that's okay. If you covered it over, then it wouldn't have done that, but I got enough bars of soap that didn't have that. I will sell those bars and keep the other ones that have the line down the center for our family. So there we go. You can do this too. So try challenged by thinking like, I can't do soap. That's dangerous. I think everyone like gets really nervous about the lye factor in things, and it's really not that hard. Make sure that you are not using an aluminum pot. Use stainless steel and wear gloves and glasses, and you're good to go. It is so simple. To me, it's like making a cake. If you can make a cake or brownies or something like that, then you can make your own soap. So I hope that you try. Let me know in the comments down below if you try for the first time or if you're a seasoned soap maker, what your favorite scent is. You guys have a blessed day.